It's easy to know what men find physically attractive, but have you ever stopped to think, what do men find emotionally attractive? I know it sounds weird, but what if I told you it's all about your mind and not at all about your body? I know it sounds weird, but on today's show, we're going to be discussing 5 mindsets men love in a woman. That way, you know how to get him desperate for you, regardless of what you look like. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're paying attention to me and everyone else in the live stream, please say here present so that I know you're here present and actively participating. Welcome to the show, all of you beautiful, beautiful souls. How you guys doing? I see we got Scotty was here super early in the TikTok chat. I said we got Cheeks here. We got Panda here, Honey here, Sita here. Who else? We got Zyra here, Janet here, Inspiration here, Francesca here, Kayla T, Stephanie, and who we got over in the YouTube chat. We got Nays here, Tracy's here, Ivy's here. We got Kayla is here, Luna is here, Kendra's here, Irina is here, KB is here, Mary is here. Who else we got? I said Tracy now, she was first today. Welcome all you beautiful souls. And of course we got Missy America holding us down in the YouTube chat. Let's get right into it, guys. I love it. Let's get right into it. All right. So I want you guys to all be aware that today's topic is obviously going to focus mainly on emotions, and that's for a very specific reason. I never want you to get confused. Yes, dump trucks are amazing. Yes, yitties are amazing. But what's even more amazing is if you can have the right mental and emotional approach to your relationships, because that's really what's going to keep and really intensely attract those men to you, okay? The dump truck's only going to take you so far before you're going to have to start figuring out how to become even more emotionally attractive to men and what turns them on, what gets them pursuing in order to get what you want, which is princess treatment and him to be pursuing you, all that good stuff, okay? So number one, we want to discuss the mindset and the mind frame that you bring into a relationship that everybody is equal. Okay, I know usually we save stop pooping time for later in the show, but early on in today's show, it's going to be what we classify as stop pooping time, meaning I want you paying very close attention, okay, very early on from today. When I say everybody is equal, here is the main mistake that you're making in your relationships when you're building with guys. See, it's very easy to go about things like normal and like regular when you don't really like a guy. A guy that's not that interesting that asks you out on a date, you might go out on this date because, you know, you have nothing better to do. If you like him, it doesn't really matter. If he's cool, it doesn't really matter. You don't really care how you present yourself. You're just like, cool, if you want to take me out on a date, sure, you can take me out on a date. And he does all this work to try to impress you throughout the date. And you're sitting here thinking to yourself, regardless of whether you do backflips or front flips, it's not really going to make me like you anymore. But sure, go on, right? But here's the thing, and this is where the mistake comes in. When you really like a guy or you meet a guy that you identify as someone that you really want this to work with, right? When you're thinking in your mind, what is my Prince Charming like, or what is my perfect man like? You meet a guy that you might not even know, or you meet the idea of a man, okay? That's another show for another day. But you start to fall in love with the idea of him and you feel like, oh no, yes, you're exactly what I'm looking for. You're exactly what I want. I'll never be able to find anyone as perfect as you are and how amazing as you are. So where does your mind go when you start thinking that way? You start thinking to yourself, okay, because I'll never again be able to find someone as perfect as you and as amazing as you, I'm going to give you special treatment. I'm going to make exceptions to my regular everyday rules that I wouldn't regularly make for any normal guy or any guy that I'm talking to or in a relationship with that I might not like that much. But for you, because I really like you and because I really want to be with you and because I really want this situation to work, I'm going to make some exceptions and changes specifically for you that I wouldn't regularly make. That's a mistake. And the reason I talk about it being a mindset mistake and why you want your mindset to be that everyone is equal is because when he starts building this relationship with you and he starts treating you a particular way because you're in the process of learning him, you're going to start to understand how he treats you and goes about dating you. and dating in general. Whether you're receiving princess treatment, whether he's kind and respectful, or whether he's out there inconsistent, whether he's disrespectful, all that good stuff you're going to be learning in the process of building a relationship with him. And see, here's the problem. When you give guys special, unique treatment because I really like you and I really want this to work with you, the moment you begin to give them that really special, unique treatment, they identify that you're giving them really special, unique treatment, and they say, oh, that must mean I can get away with things that other people won't get away with. That must mean I can act crazy and do things that nobody else would be able to do. That must mean that the rules that apply to everyone else don't apply to me. And so slowly but surely, they start, rather than you thinking, oh, they're knowing that they're so special to me, so they're going to cherish that in their heart. What they end up realizing is, I'm so special to her, so maybe I don't have to do the same things that everyone else did. You know, all these other guys gave princess treatment. Maybe I don't have to give the same amount of princess treatment. And see, this is why I say it's a mindset mistake, because a lot of you, when you meet a guy that you feel is really special to you, that you feel, oh no, this is the guy I really want to end up with, not only do you treat him that way, but you actually confess to him how special he is to you and how unique you treat him versus how you treat everyone else, and how you give him exceptions that you wouldn't give anyone else. Tell me in the chat if you've ever met a guy and made the mistake of letting him know that I make a whole lot of exceptions in our relationships to you that I wouldn't regularly make for other people. You're thinking in your mind, oh, when I'm telling him that, he's going to feel so special in his heart that I'm making exceptions for him. No, it's a mistake. It's a mistake. When you're telling him that, you're actually confirming to him probably what he was already thinking, that I'm getting away with a lot. Now you're literally telling him, I let you get away with a lot. I let you do what you want, and regularly I would step on it. Regularly I wouldn't deal with it. Regularly I would literally walk away from this person. But with you, there's just something about you that I can't stay mad at. Something about you that I can't be angry at. You're just so much different than everyone else. I can't treat you the same. Mistake. And the reason I say when you have the mindset that everyone is equal, why that actually attracts men to you, because you might be thinking, wait, you're telling me by telling him he's not special, he's going to be more attracted to me? Yes. Yes. This is why I want you paying attention early, because I know that it makes no sense. I know that it sounds really stupid. I know that it sounds very backwards. But I want you to understand, men don't appreciate you more for giving them special treatment or making them feel like they're the most best person ever, that they never can make any mistakes. They actually respect you more when you set rules and boundaries and expectations and you don't break or fold on those. Because what that subconsciously communicates to them is, if it's hard for me, then it's probably been hard for a whole lot of other people as well. And if it's hard for everyone as well, that must mean there's a lot of value here, right? Because it's scarce and very unavailable to men. I know when I talk about this, I make it sound so transactional, but you need to understand that this plays a role in the psyche of men, whether we like it or not. It's the same reason business is all predicated on demand and supply and balancing demand and supply, because when something is readily available to everyone whenever they want it, it doesn't make it seem very valuable. Vice versa, when something is in such high demand that it's always sold out and no one can ever get it or have access to it, or you need to jump through a whole bunch of hoops to get access to it, then that means that the value goes way, way, way up. And people are willing to do more and pay more for that item. Now, you're not an item, but the same psychology presents itself in relationships as well. It's the reason why the most successful businesses, I was going to say businesses, the most successful businesses understand how to balance that. And the same thing for you. You can understand how to balance that. And one of the ways to balance that is to approach your relationships with the mindset that everyone is equal, meaning I have boundaries and standards for my relationships, and specifically how I will be treated by any man who is going to get access to me. If you dare not meet those boundaries and expectations, you will be banished from the kingdom. Do you understand me? There are no compromises. There are no coupon codes. There are no discounts. You either abide by the rules or you get the F out. Those are your only two options. Okay? And I need you to understand how that works and why that's such an important mindset, because that raises your value in people's eyes. And people eventually say, my only options to get access to you are to act right or to act right. You don't go to a Louis Vuitton store expecting a discount, do you? You don't go to the Gucci store expecting to see a 60% off rack, do you? You don't expect to go to the Dior store and see some secondhand items for repurchase, do you? No. You go to those shops expecting to pay full price for the item because everyone wants it, and they don't do discounts at a designer store. Do you expect to see a Hermes authentic bag on eBay selling for 1/3 of the price? Do you expect to go to the Hermes store and pick up a bag on a Black Friday sale? Absolutely not. If you want an Hermes bag, you expect to pay full price for it. If you want a Chanel bag, you expect to pay full price for it. So if you don't have the money for a Chanel bag or an Hermes bag, you don't even bother walking into the store. Because you ain't going to bargain and get a discount. You ain't going to find no sales rack. You ain't going to be able to talk down the price or do anything to the price except for pay full price. And so I say that to say, you understand that the most valuable products in this world, right? The most valuable items in this world to buy, not that you're an item, are only available at full price. There is no discount for those things. Whether you're Cardi B, whether you're Justin Bieber, whether you're a bum on the street, whether you're a political figure, whoever you are, it's still full price. You want to pay for an Hermes bag? I don't care if there's $100 million in your bank account. I don't care if you're an influencer that can influence so many more people into purchasing the bag and you can post it 1,000 times on your Insta story. There is no discount for your Hermes bag. The most we can do for you is put you a little bit higher up on the waiting list so that you might have the possibility of buying your Hermes bag in this particular color a little bit quicker than other people on the waiting list. You still gonna pay full price though. We'll just bump you up on the waiting list to pay full price. So I say that to say this is the type of mindset you need to be bringing into your relationships, because that will show men, oh, you have a lot of value. And when you show men that you have a lot of value, they'll respect you more for that. And they'll also approach you as if you have a lot of value. And see, subconsciously, when men perceive you as someone who has a lot of value because of the way you approach relationships, they say to themselves, okay, I need to fix up. I need to adjust my behavior. I need to make sure I have some urgency when it comes to this relationship and how I treat her. Because if I don't treat her the right way, if you don't walk into an Hermes store with the right amount of funds and a way to pay for that Hermes bag, they'll just kick you out. That's it. You're not going to be able to talk a whole bunch. You're not going to be able to chill in the store. If you don't have the come prepared to pay the full price for the Hermes bag, you're going to get kicked out of the store. That's it. And so men understand when it comes to you, as they begin to approach you and better learn and understand you, and they learn that this is your mindset and your approach to relationships, they say to themselves, oh, you know what? If I'm not prepared to pay full price, if I'm not prepared to be emotionally properly invested in here, if I'm not prepared to be consistent with her and consistent in this relationship, if I'm not prepared to give princess treatment to this beautiful, amazing woman here, I should just get out of the store because I'm wasting my time here. I'm not going to get a discount. I'm not going to be able to move willy-nilly. I'm not going to be able to mess around or play around. I'm not going to get special treatment because I'm good looking, or special treatment because, I'm more handsome or outgoing or charming than the other guys. Regardless of how much she likes me, everyone gets treated equal. And even more so than just how she treats me and approaches this relationship and what she allows, right? If I make a mistake, this is the even more important part and why I want you guys paying attention from the very beginning today. If I make a mistake, men need to be able to understand there is no special treatment for me for making a mistake in this relationship. I don't get exceptions where, oh, she expects princess treatment, or she expects to be respected a particular way in our relationship, or she expects consistency. And if I don't do that, if I disrespect her, if I call her outside of her name, if I don't show up to dates on time, if I stand her up, and she wouldn't accept that from bums who she doesn't care about, but for some reason she's going to accept that from me, all guys say to themselves is, oh, so everyone doesn't get treated equal. I get exceptions and I get to do things that no one else would be able to get away with. How do you think bad kids get so bad? It's not just one day they wake up and do the worst thing ever and are a bad child from the start. They learn over time that there isn't consequences to their actions. And as they grow in their understanding that there aren't consequences to their actions, they continuously act out and act out and act out and act out. Why do you think what's the name? The girl on Dr. Phil with the red hair, the Cash Me Outside girl, Bad Barbie, right? Is her name now. How do you think she became such a bad child? It wasn't just an overnight thing, not to diss her. It's not just an overnight thing, right? But it's a learned experience over time that, oh, the things that most people wouldn't get away with, I can get away with. I don't have to face consequences. I don't have to face anything. I can just continue doing whatever I want to do, and I'll continue to get away with it and continue to do whatever I want to do. And so when people learn that and learn that they can treat you like that, they continue to push and push and push the limits until you end up on Dr. Phil with the crazy boyfriend that treats you crazy and has 13 side chicks that you pay for. Okay. And you end up on Dr. Phil because you're in an insane situation. Okay. I don't want that for you. Okay. So someone says how to make him realize that everybody is equal. This is something that you do not tell people. You show them this. It's part of the reason why I say that in a very weird and strange way, one of the things you should be looking forward to in a relationship or in a talking stage is the first fight or disagreement that you have with someone, because that is your very first opportunity to show that person. I know this sounds horrible, but I'm telling you what you need to hear to get what you want. That is your first opportunity to show someone I mean business. And if you are not prepared to show up for me in the way that I expect someone, my partner in particular, to show up for me, you will not get an opportunity with me. And it's a very good way to show someone from the very beginning that you mean business. Not tell them, but to show them. Because remember, at the very beginning, they're still learning you and understanding how you respond to certain things and understanding what they can and can't get away with. So when you step on things very early on in the relationship, you show them very early on you're not going to be dealing with a whole bunch of BS. And if they expect to come here with a whole bunch of BS, they're going to have a very short time span spent with you. Okay? So you show them that everyone is equal by waiting for that first time that there's a slip up, whether he's disrespectful, whether he doesn't show up on time for the date, whether he flops on you, whether he doesn't know how to schedule things, or whatever it may be that leads to a disagreement, or he just doesn't show up for you how you expect. And you address it accordingly. And the best way to, most of the time, the best way to address the situation is to completely withdraw yourself from that person. So I'll give you an example of what I mean by showing him that everyone is equal. Let's say that you guys have planned a date for Tuesday afternoon, and you guys are supposed to go out on this date on Tuesday afternoon at exactly 3 p.m. You're supposed to go to the zoo at 3 p.m. And he scheduled this with you. He said he would pick you up at 3 p.m. He said that this date was going to happen at 3 p.m. You guys are chit-chatting. And when 3 p.m. on Tuesday comes, no text, no call, no reach out, no nothing. 4 p.m., 6 p.m., nighttime. The next day, he messages you and says, oh, my bad, I had something to do. Or in some of your cases, he doesn't even message you at all. An example of treating everyone equal would be, or let's not even say that he doesn't show up to the date. Let's say you're supposed to meet at 3 p.m. and let's say he then shows up at 5:30 p.m. He messaged you at 5:30 p.m. and says, I'm on my way now. Now, a version of treating everyone equal would be to say, hey, I'm not coming out. I'm not spending this time with you. See you some other time. He might start saying this. He might start messaging you when you say, I'm not coming out or I'm not seeing you. He might say, what happened? I thought you said blah, 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 blah. I thought we were going to go at the thing. And I was trying to tell you that I was going through this thing and I had so much work and da, da, da. No, we organized a date at 3 p.m. You couldn't be an adult enough to let me know that either you were running late, you had some other responsibility going on that was a priority. You were not capable of being an adult. I'm not coming out on this date with you. Now, you don't even have to go back and forth with him. You simply just have to say the one time, I'm not coming out on this date with you. You said 3 p.m. It's past 3 p.m. And then you just don't see him or speak to him for the rest of the day, no matter what he says or how much he honks outside of your door. That is an example of everyone is equal, because a lot of times, here's the thing. A lot of times guys, as they continue to see you and meet you, they know that you like them. And the more that you show that, they understand that you like them. So they start to feel like I can get away with more and more and more. Not until you step on it. This is why there's always going to come an opportunity to step on things and show him that you mean business. Not until you step on it does he realize, okay, I can't push the boundaries that far. I can't go crazy with it. I can't go extreme with it. I'm not going to be able to get away with anything. And see, here's the thing. As soon as guys jackrabbit themselves inside of you for 90 seconds or less, usually less, they realize that that's kind of like the ultimate validation to them that, oh, you really do like me. Oh, I really am the exception. And that's usually when they start acting out, because they realize that you're now completely invested in me. You're now here with me. You're kind of stuck with me, because if you abandon me or you get rid of me now, you've basically wasted a body. Do you want to waste a body? And it almost becomes like a subconscious threat that they know you have on your mind. So they get to utilize that to their advantage to go to the extremes or to start acting out, knowing that you're going to be compromised. So Electric Field said it perfectly, that you're compromised now. And you feel like if you lose out on this relationship, or if you don't end up with him, that you wasted a body, right? And that's kind of the number one thing that puts you in a really precarious situation, is feeling like you wasted a body. So now you start saying, okay, I won't treat everyone equal. You can get special treatment. And I guess if you're a horrible person to me, I guess we'll let it slide this time. And I'll just pretend to live in a dream world where I feel like you're the perfect person, even though you're not. And I'll think about the times and the days that you were better to me, even though you're never good to me nowadays. Okay, we don't want that for you. We want you to approach it with the mindset that everyone is equal. Men appreciate, trust me. I don't care what men complain about to you. I don't care what they say they don't like, what they don't want. I promise you, men appreciate and are attracted to you when you treat them like you would any other guy. They are not more attracted to you because you give them special treatment. In fact, it's actually the opposite. They become less attracted to you knowing how much special treatment they're receiving from you, because they start to think to themselves, what can I now get away with, because I'm so much more better and so much more amazing than other people. Now, obviously, I'm not saying you should never compliment your boyfriend or compliment your husband, but I want you to be very, very careful just giving away all of your compliments, all of your appreciation to someone who has not earned that, and you cannot confirm yet is here for the right reasons. Because some people that you meet and you go out on dates with are not here for the right reasons, and the moment they know that you're giving them special treatment, rather than appreciating that and treating you well in turn, they're going to be thinking to themselves, perfect, I've got her right where I want her. I'm going to take advantage of the situation that I'm in now because she's giving me special treatment. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Right? So you want to make sure that you treat everyone equal. Lay says, what if you're in a relationship though? You can still treat everyone equal, even in a relationship. I assure you, and I know that it's scary. I know that it's scary for you to set boundaries and have those boundaries be the same boundaries for him as other people. But I can assure you, people will respect you more for setting boundaries with everyone the same, right? And in return, in turn for that respect, the men that are in your life that actually want to respect you and are okay with respecting you, they will have no problem with you setting boundaries, okay? Someone who actually respects you will have no problem with you having the same rules, standards, and expectations that you do for everyone. No one that actually wants to respect you will have an issue with that. The only people in your life that will have an issue with you setting the same boundaries, the same standards, and the same expectations that you have of everyone, the only people that have an issue with that are people who are trying to take advantage of you. They'll complain that they don't get to, that you're a hard butt and you're a drill sergeant and they don't get away with everything and get special treatment from you and without having to ever think about what they're doing or abide by any standards or expectations. People who want to take advantage of you will complain. People who aren't interested in taking advantage of you will have no problem with your standards, boundaries, and expectations. In fact, they'll respect you for that. I can assure you, that's part of why we joined the Players Club. I don't want you to get nervous and start sweating anytime you think about setting boundaries or having standards. That's the number one thing that's like messing all of your relationships up. You start getting nervous and you start sweating and you start thinking to yourself, he's not going to like me if I have too many boundaries and expectations. I can assure you, when he really is interested in you, it will not be an issue whatsoever. Not at all. Don't get nervous. Don't start shivering, because you will find the man that can respect those boundaries and abide by those standards and expectations. Okay. So everyone is equal is number one. Number two, the mindset that I want you to bring that is really attractive to men is that you are booked and busy. Once again, I know that it sounds really stupid because you're thinking to yourself, how can he be more attracted to me if I have less time to spend with him? Once again, the idea of demand and supply and the psychology that plays on our brain when we think to ourselves, oh, everyone wants that. That means that it's really valuable. That means I should want it too. And when I want it too and everyone wants it, that makes it harder to get, which confirms to me that everyone wants it because it's not available to me even when I try to get it. So I'm going to have to pay double the price, or I'm going to have to jump through hoops to get it, which means it's even more valuable. And it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Something is valuable because everyone wants it. And because everyone wants it, it's not very available to me. And because it's not available to me, that's like confirmation that everyone wants it and it's really valuable. So I say that to say being booked and busy is a perfect example of that. And when I say the mindset of being booked and busy, I mean bringing to your relationship the idea that, like, I have a lot of stuff going on. It's not just you and dating you and spending time with you. And I know that sounds like a diss when I'm saying that you should bring that mindset to a relationship, but men take note of that and they say, oh, your time actually is valuable. Oh, I'm not bringing the sunshine and the life into your life, right? When I come in, it's not the be end all of your life. You're booked and you're busy. I know that sounds like a really silly terminology, but men actually appreciate the fact that you don't have that much time for them. Why? Because it naturally brings out of them that hunter mindset that, oh, you don't have a lot of time for me, so I'm going to figure out what I must do to get your time. And it becomes like a puzzle or a game that they have to solve. I know that you guys hate games, but the reality of it is video games make billions of dollars every year for a reason. And men love playing video games for a reason. There is no good video game that starts people off from level 100. In every good video game, you're going to start from level 0 and you're going to work your way up to the top. So that should tell you in itself, men are obsessed. Think about how much your favorite man loves to sit on his fucking... almost got upset. I always get upset when I talk about men playing video games. Think about how much your man loves to sit on his chair and play video games, right? So that should tell you, if video games start men off from 0 and allow them to build up to level 100, that should tell you how much men love working from ground 0 up to getting somewhere a lot better, with work, with time, with effort, and with practice. Okay, I really hate men playing video games, so that's why I cursed. It just really irks me. Okay, I don't want to get on a rant about that. But that's my point. You understand what I'm saying? So that should let you in on the fact that secretly, that you don't even realize it, but when you're booked and busy, right, it subconsciously tells men, oh, so I'm gonna have to work for your time. It's not just you're available 24/7. It's not just every single day, 24 hours a day. If I wanted to spend time with you, I could, because literally there's nothing else going on in your life, right? It's, oh, let me make sure I plan with you. Let me make sure I schedule with you. Let me make sure I plan ahead specifically with you so that I can make sure that you're free, because I know you're booked and busy. You got a lot of stuff to do. You got a lot of stuff going on for you. And it reminds men that when they come into your life, that your life didn't start moving and spinning around simply because they stepped into it. That your life has always been moving around, always having things to do, always having time spent doing other things, and that when I step into your life, it's just an addition if I bring good things, but it's not like you need me to be there. And I know that it sounds horrible because you're thinking, how can a man be more attracted to me because I have less time to spend with him? It's simply supply and demand. When you show him that there's a lot of demand in you, not just that other guys want you, but other things in your life are also competing for your time, it tells him, I'm starting from level 0 and I have to play a video game and I have to earn more and more time. I have to do more things to get time, whether it be planning ahead, scheduling ahead, taking her out to a fancier place, making sure that I do more things for her, giving her princess treatment so that she'll want to spend more time with me. And it becomes like a video game. You're not a video game, but I just want you to understand how it plays on the men's psyche. The same way they love to sit down at those video games, start from level 0 and build up to level 100, they actually subconsciously want to be able to do that with you. They don't want to meet you for the first time, and the first time they meet you, you want to spend all of your days with them and the entire week with them. It only communicates to them, oh, I literally just started playing this video game and I'm already at level 100. So yeah, I might play this video game for the first week and be interested in it for 1 week, but after I've been on level 100 for 1 week and I've done everything I needed to do in the video game, I start looking for a new video game to play. Because men always need new challenges, which is why they love playing video games. And the best video games know how to make reoccurring challenges, which is why for you, you can also understand how to implement that same thought process and approach in your relationships. When you're booked and busy, it always feels like there is a challenge in getting more and more and more of your time, which is good. Men become attracted to you when they feel like they actually have to compete for your time, when they feel like they actually have to do things for your time. They feel like they actually have to impress you. They feel like they actually have to press you. Okay? I know that it sounds strange and it sounds silly that men would be more attracted to you by you giving less to them, but it's the truth. Dream girls are dream girls for a reason. Men end up wanking off to women that they don't know, that they only see on Instagram or on OnlyFans for a reason. Because they don't know them, and the fact that they don't know them and feel like they can never have access to them makes them like this dream figure that they can never have access to. It's weird and strange, but those are the men that the men fantasize about. And the women that the men fantasize about. And the women that they don't fantasize about are the women that they literally could call up any day that they want, anytime, and get to come over to their place at any point in time, like DoorDash. I can promise you they don't spend any time fantasizing about those women. And when they're talking to their guy friends, they wouldn't be telling their guy friends that I want my dream girl is the girl who's available to me 24/7, that I never have to put in any work for. I don't want to hurt your feelings. I want to just give you some knowledge and some understanding that you can take this with you and realize what the best approach is. Okay? Lida says, but what if he says that he doesn't see himself in the position to impress me? Then what should I do? I think you said at the end there. If he says that he doesn't see himself in a position to impress you, then that's perfectly fine. Then that's not the guy that you're looking for. You need to have it set in your mind, like we talked about earlier, everyone is equal. So if I expect princess treatment as a woman, right? I expect princess treatment as a woman, period, full stop. If you're not prepared to do that, you don't have the facilities to do that. You don't have the facilities to do that, big man. That's perfectly fine. I will be moving on from you. That's not like you sometimes you guys get so caught up in how do I negotiate with him, what treatment I get from him, or how he treats me in this relationship. And I always have to remind you guys, you do realize you're the woman, right? You do realize that majority of the time how it should be. I hope you're not approaching men, but like if you're the woman, that means he's approaching you. That means he's reaching out to you. That means he's telling you, I like you and I want to get to know you. that means inherently he wants something from you, whether it be emotionally or physically in between your legs or both. If he wants something from you, it is not your job to negotiate with him what you expect from him in order for him to get access to you. You get to set the terms and conditions if he wants access to you. Sometimes you guys forget that and you guys ask me, oh, but Tomisin, how do I negotiate him treating me better because he's not been treating me well and, he's been with me. You don't negotiate that. He wants something from you. You tell him or you let him know, these are your standards. These are your expectations. You can either abide by those standards and expectations or not. Either one is fine with me. Like we talked about, I'm booked and busy. Everyone gets treated equal. And you'll see when you see these mindsets all feed into each other and feed into your approach, and your life becomes so easy and so simple and a lot less stressful because your life is full. And you say to yourself, I'm only here to get treated a particular way by a particular type of man who shows themselves to be what I'm looking for. If that's not you, that's perfectly fine. I don't have a problem with that. That will be someone. There's lots of people in line here prepared to do what's necessary to get access to me. And if it's not you, perfectly fine. You can go find someone else. I promise you, when you approach relationships with that mindset, you'll see a drastic difference in the way the men approach you. Because it's not just something that people see, there's something that people feel from you and an energy that people feel from you. And when they feel that energy from you, especially as the men, they begin to conform and adjust themselves to be what you need and what you're looking for. Instead of you thinking to yourself, how can I eliminate all of my boundaries and standards so that I can make it as easy for you to get access to me as possible, hoping that in the process of you getting a lot of easy access to me, you'll like me. Excuse me. And in reality, they never like you more for that. Alchemy says, hello, Tomisin is correct as usual. I would rather be alone in the corner with a coloring book than focusing on whether a man wants me. I wasted too many minutes focusing on the wrong men. 100%. I know that this is called the Players Club, and I know that we talk about men and their perspective and their approach to relationships a lot, but I want you to understand that the reason I'm communicating that to you is so that you can reverse a lot of the things that you've been thinking about your relationships and how to best approach men, because the reality of it is setting boundaries, setting standards, having respect for yourself, and doing things outside of just trying to figure out how you can do the most for a man actually makes you more attractive. So in the weirdest way, the most attractive version of yourself that we're going to talk about is actually the version of yourself that is at least thinking about what you need to do for those men. Weirdly is enough. I know it sounds really stupid. Probably no one else is going to explain it to you like that, but honestly, that's the truth. Okay, right? So number one was everyone is equal. Number two is being booked and busy. Okay, someone says, how can you reverse our first actions? The best way to reverse those actions, probably want to go on my YouTube page, which is right above my head on the right side of the screen. It's just my name. Type in on my YouTube my name, and then type in how to get your power back. Watch that video. Watch the live stream because it's like 2 hours long. That way you can understand how to reverse a lot of these things that you've been doing if you've made the mistake in doing those things in the first place. And now you're in the relationship and you're thinking, how do I undo them? Okay. So first off is everybody is equal. Number two is being booked and busy. Okay. Number three, the number three mindset I want you to approach with, and actually I want this to be a second stop pooping time for some of you. Okay. Actually, for all of you, I want this to be second stop pooping time. So if you're pooping, snip it off and suck the rest back into your colon. Okay. And I want you paying attention, and I want you to get your hand out of your pants. Look in my eyes now. This number three mindset, I want you to approach in your relationships that you only get one shot. I want to repeat it again. You only get one shot. When you go, I want to ask you a question so that we can all be of the same understanding. If you are going to apply to a job, and let's say this job pays a six-figure salary, crazy benefits, dental, medical, everything you could possibly think of as a benefit. They even pay for your house and your car. You're like, oh my God, this is the best job ever. Oh my God, I literally have the qualifications for this job. Oh my God, if I got this job, my life would literally be set forever. Okay. Benefits galore, money galore, everything galore. Don't even have to go into the office, barely have to do any work. So you go ahead and you apply for the job. And then someone reaches back to you and says, hey, congratulations. We loved your resume and we want to interview you for this job. You go to the interview for this job. Let's just say it's in person. I know it's 2024, but let's just say this interview is in person. And let's just say when you go for this interview, you're stumbling over your words. When you're reciting your resume, you don't really know, you're not really reciting it well. Your speech is really off. You're sweating. You're nervous. When you're talking about the job and your skill set, you just bomb the entire interview. You start cursing. You don't know what to do. The whole interview goes horribly. When you walk out of that interview, I want to ask you a question, and this is where I actually want you to answer. And you've bombed that interview. Are you going to call the hiring manager up after that interview and say, hey, hiring manager, I want to let you know I was having a bad hair day and a bad outfit day and a bad everything day. I didn't get my vitamins. I didn't get my minerals. I didn't work out in the morning. I was just feeling like garbage. And I was wondering, hiring manager, could you be so kind as to give me another opportunity to interview for this amazing job? I mean, it's the best job ever. And I would love to have this job. And I know that I bombed the first interview, but I would love to be able to redo my interview and have another interview. I'm asking you a question, honestly. Would you call the hiring manager back and ask them for a second interview? Or would you say to yourself, I bombed the interview. That's probably it for me. Okay? I'm asking you a genuine question. I want all of you to answer. Are you going to, after you bomb the interview, are you going to call the hiring manager and ask them for a second interview again? Or are you just going to say, damn, I missed my shot. I missed my opportunity and I'm going to move on? I see a lot of people saying no. Some Coach K says I wouldn't even think about it. So the reason that I asked that question is because you understand that there are no second chance interviews, which is why you wouldn't even bother asking for a second chance interview, which is why you would feel so horribly if you bombed the first interview, because there is no second interview. And the reason I say that is because, see, the thing about it is, when you understand that you're only going to get one shot at something, it becomes that much more important and urgent for you to get it right the first time. However, if I were to tell you that on that same interview, before you went to go interview, that you actually have at least 10 shots to get this right and you can still get the job, well, how much pressure do you think is going to be on you for that first interview? Probably not a lot. In fact, you might not even prepare as much as you regularly would for an interview because you realize that there's another opportunity a week from now, another opportunity a couple of days from now, another opportunity a couple months from now, and you can just continue responding your opportunities until you finally get the job. And see, you'll bring a lot less urgency to that every singular job interview and every singular, we'll call it opportunity, because you realize that you're going to get another one. So I say that to say, when you bring the mindset into your relationships that each and every man gets treated equal, but even more importantly than that, you get one shot to do this the right way. See, what ends up coming out of you when you approach it like that is a zero tolerance for BS. I know that this makes you I'm making it sound like you should be a drill sergeant, but I'm telling you, the best way to be attractive to men is to be a drill sergeant. Not to be a maid scrubbing your sponge on the floor squeaky clean, trying to figure out how you can wash the pans, how you can do the dishes, how you can clean the stove, clean the microwave, clean the floor, give him a handy and give him a footy all at the same time. Because men don't end up respecting you for doing all of those things for them. They only end up overlooking you while you're on your hands and knees scrubbing the floor at someone else who they want to pay all of their attention and time to. So always the most attractive version of yourself is someone that is firm in your stance and approaching your relationships with the mindset that everyone that is going to have access to me gets one shot to show me what they got. You're on this date with me. That's great. You're on this date with me. That's awesome. You're showing yourself so far to be someone I like. That's awesome. However, if you start messing up so crazy, you start disrespecting me so crazy, you start being inconsistent with me so crazy, you want to disappear for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, don't you dare think that you're going to disappear for 3 months and you're going to come right back and things are going to resume just because you apologize. Do you get to call in sick for 3 months and keep your job? If you disappear from your job for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 1 month, do you just get to walk back into the office and resume your job like nothing happened? So if people don't get to do that for jobs that pay minimum wage, why are you allowing men to do that with your life? Is your life not more valuable than a minimum wage job? So why are you allowing people to walk in and out of your life willy-nilly as they feel like it and get multiple opportunities to only mess up and make the same mistakes over again? Why? Because you like him? Why? Because he's a little bit better looking than all the other guys you usually dated? Why? Because you want to make exceptions for this man that you haven't made for other men? You see how each and every one of these mindsets kind of combine and intertwine in each other and mix in this either horrible or amazing soup where based on your mindset and your approach, you start making a lot of either good decisions or bad decisions. And I'm trying to help you identify these mindset changes and changes to your approach that you can have that will help you see way, way, way better results. Stop making exceptions for guys. Stop allowing them to have multiple opportunities, or even first of all, approaching the relationship like he's supposed to be able to get multiple opportunities. Right? Because when guys understand and start to feel from you that they're going to be able to get multiple opportunities out of you, they will do that. They will take this opportunity to utilize their multiple opportunities. And they, like, same way when we talked about with the job interview, they won't approach it with a sense of urgency. They won't approach it like it's serious. They won't approach it like this is their only opportunity to do the right thing. They'll approach it as, if I make a mistake today, I can make a mistake tomorrow, I can make a mistake the next day, and I can just keep making mistakes and keep coming back on those mistakes. Katie said like used batteries. That's pretty funny. Okay? I don't want that for you. And I don't want any of you to get treated like that. Okay. By the way, thank you to Flo, who donates like 400 coins in the TikTok. I don't really know how much coins are valued at, but thank you so much. It's a lot of coins. Thank you, Flo. Okay. And thank you to anyone else who donates. So do you guys understand what I mean so far? Right? Someone says, I think it was Lily that says, what if he comes back after a breakup? So this is part of the thing when we talk about you only got one shot that I want you to all understand. Yes, people are capable of apologizing for the mistakes and fixing those mistakes and working on those mistakes, which is why I have a whole show dedicated to what to do when a man comes back, because you need to be able to identify the difference between someone coming back because they're actually prepared to make a change and know what it was that is the reason you guys broke up in the first place and want to know how to adjust that so it doesn't happen again, versus someone who's just coming back because they think since a couple of months or a couple of weeks have passed, you probably forgot about it, or you're so anxiously attached that you don't want him to be not in your life anymore, and you'd rather just forgive him even though he hasn't apologized or fixed anything, just because you want things to go back to normal. Okay, so there's a difference between those things, and I have a whole show dedicated to what to do in that scenario so you can understand how to analyze that situation to extract the answer from that. Okay. But the main thing I want you focused on is that you should be thinking in your mind when you start dating someone, you get one opportunity to do this right. And if you don't utilize that opportunity the right way, you're cooked. Because other people want this opportunity similar to other people wanting this job opportunity. And because other people want this job opportunity, they're going to take it seriously. And if they're going to take it seriously, I'll just hire one of them to get the job. If you don't know how to do this interview right, if you don't know how to take this job application and job role seriously, I'll find someone else who is taking it seriously, that knows what to do and knows how to treat me. Right? Like I say, when you start to adopt these mindsets, not only do you become more attractive to men, but you also make your life so much more simple. And you become so much more happy and peaceful in your life because your life is so simple. No more do you have to go back and forth in your mind and what is he thinking? What does he want? Does he like me? Does he want to be with me? Is me holding out on sleeping with him making him not interested in me? Does he not want to be with me? Does he like another girl? No. You rid yourself of going back and forth, losing your marbles about what he wants from you and if he likes you. And you start thinking to yourself, do I like him? Is he showing me the things that I want to see in my relationship? If he's not, then I don't waste my time on him. Very simple. Very simple. Okay? Right? Salma says, I'm an HR recruiter and what he says is facts. Yeah. Take it from someone I've done a lot of job interviews myself. I haven't been a recruiter, but I've done a lot of job interviews myself. I've done really good in some and I've bombed some. I can guarantee you in none of those do you get any opportunity to do the interview over again. You get one opportunity to get a good job one time. If you don't impress, the first time, someone else will get the job. And nobody's going to feel sorry for you because you bombed the interview. They're going to move on to the person who did it right. And I say that to say you want to approach your relationships the same way. You get an opportunity. Everyone gets a fair shot to do it right. If you don't put your best foot forward, if you don't utilize and seize this opportunity, too bad, so sad. We're going to move forward with a different candidate. You gotta be ruthless sometimes. You gotta be ruthless. Okay. So number one is everyone is equal. Number two, you're booked and busy. Number three, you only get one shot to do this thing right. And number four, now this is going to sound weird. And I want you guys paying attention to this because it's going to sound really weird. And I know it's going to sound a little bit cocky and arrogant, but I can assure you it does do the thing that you want, which is attracting the men and being more desirable to them. Okay. So number four, when men give you princess treatment, especially when a guy is coming into your life and giving you all the things that you've ever wanted. He's, holding doors open for you. He's paying for dinners. He's getting you gifts. He's being so respectful to you. He's understanding. He's patient with you. I do want you to appreciate people when they treat you right. But here is the thing that I want to also put in your mind that I want you to start approaching your relationships as with anyone. See, one of the mistakes you can make in your mindset and your approach is that when someone starts treating you well and right, like you've always wanted, you start to make them feel like this is something brand new for you, that you've never experienced and could never fathom being treated this well. This is why I want us to pause on this. Because number four is I want you to approach your relationships with the mindset that being treated like a princess is nothing new. Not because that it's best for you to be arrogant and cocky. But here's the thing. When you start acting like every man in my life has treated me like a piece of garbage on the street and stepped on me and squished me and literally thrown me in the dumpster and discarded of me, but you're the first man to actually pay attention to me, take care of me, and treat me right. I know that you're just trying to communicate how you really feel. But when men are absorbing that from you, they start to think to themselves, wait a second. I thought I was treating you so well because that's the only way I was going to ever have access to you, the same way that's the only way any man was going to ever have access to you. Are you trying to tell me that there are men who literally did nothing for you and got just as much access to you? Are you trying to tell me that I reached into the dumpster and rummaged through the dumpster and picked out a piece of garbage that no one else wanted? I dusted it off and I put it on my nightstand and put a glowing light on it, and other people are walking by like, oh, that's the piece of garbage I literally threw away yesterday. It was reeking up a crazy scent in my house, so I had to get rid of it. Crazy that he has it on his nightstand and he worships it. And you need to understand what that does to a man's psyche. Okay? Because not only do they enjoy pursuing you, but they also want to feel like they're justified in their pursuit of you. That because they're giving you princess treatment, and the reason that they even are able to have access to you is because, like we talked about before, that you have a lot of value and that everyone wants you and you're scarce. And a function of you having a lot of value and you being so scarce is that no one else will really have that much access to you. So the fact that he has access to you, and I know this sounds really horrible, but I have to explain it to you. The fact that he has access to you then becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy on himself of his own self-worth. He starts to feel like you're a representation of how amazing of a man he is because he has access to you, someone who no one else has access to. I know it sounds convoluted, I know it sounds silly, and I know it sounds dumb, but I can assure you that this does happen. So the reason why I say I want your mindset to shift to princess treatment ain't nothing new. In fact, I'm shocked when a man doesn't give me that. Then the way you'll start to approach your relationships, the men in your life will also be of the belief that princess treatment is nothing new. Not that you're not appreciative of it, but it's not as if, oh, I'm only used to being treated like garbage and you're the first man to not treat me like garbage. I'm so shocked that any man would ever not treat me like garbage. Because then they think to themselves, why am I the first guy in her life not treating her like garbage? All these damn men get to jackrabbit themselves inside of her and treat her like garbage? And I'm the first bozo to actually treat her like a princess? I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I promise you, guys don't want to feel like the bozo who's the first to treat you like a princess. I know that it sounds horrible, but I want to let you in on that secret. So when men are giving you princess treatment, when men are treating you how you expect to be treated, there's nothing wrong with being giddy, nothing wrong with being excited. But I don't want you to approach it from the standpoint of, oh my God, you're the first guy to ever treat me well. Oh my God, I've never before been treated this amazing. I don't want you to go over the top with it. I want you to treat this like this is an everyday, regular thing. Okay? Right? Part of the same reason, where think of the idea that if you were going to hang out with rich people, do you think that if you were going to try to fake being a really rich, high-class person, you're going to get excited about something mundane that most rich people wouldn't even be fazed at? If you were hanging around rich people, are you going to start saying, oh my God, $90 for shoes? That's so expensive. If you were trying to fake being rich and hang around rich people and pretend like you're one of those rich people, you're not going to complain about spending $90 on a shoe because you want to seem rich and unbothered about spending $90 on a shoe. So you're going to make it seem like if I spend $90 on a shoe, that ain't nothing new. We spend $90 on shoes any day because my bank account full of figures. Okay? If you were going to pretend to be rich, and vice versa, if you were going to go to the shoe store and you were going to complain about not getting a 60% discount and you were trying to hang out with rich people and make yourself look rich to all the rich people, the rich friends are going to look at you like, wait a second, this ain't nothing new to you to go to the store and buy some shoes? You looking all through the sale, like, you have a problem with buying some shoes? You have a problem, just getting some kicks at the store? I thought you was rich. What happened to that? Right? And so I just say that to say, the moment you start acting like this is like brand new to receive princess treatment from a guy, they start thinking to themselves, well, something must be off here because I thought you had a lot of value. I thought you were really scarce. I thought everyone wanted you. And if everyone wants you and you're really valuable, wouldn't all the men that are in your life be giving you princess treatment? Why am I the first guy in your life giving you princess treatment if that's something that you expect from everyone, unless I'm the first, right? As weird as it sounds, people do not like to be pioneers and the first to do something, right? They like to join in on the already existing like gravy train. So whatever everyone else is already thinking and doing, whatever the trend is, that's what most people like to be able to hop onto. Okay. The same reason why it sounds really ridiculous to pay $500 resale for a pair of sneakers. But if everyone wants those sneakers really bad and everyone is paying $500 for those sneakers, you say to yourself, well, I guess it makes logical sense for me to pay $500 for a pair of sneakers that cost 50 cents to make in a factory by a small Asian boy. But I guess because everyone else is paying $500, I'll pay $500 too. And it's a lot easier to jump on the gravy train where you convince yourself that something has a lot of value because everyone else has treated it like it has a lot of value. So sometimes, as strange as it sounds, bringing the mindset that this is nothing new, that everyone treats you as if you have a lot of value, also confirms to men that you have a lot of value. And as weird as it sounds, it makes them more attracted to you because they're convinced that you have a lot of value. I know that it sounds very strange. Okay. But I want to assure you, once you start to absorb this, you'll be like, aha, I get it now. I see what you're saying. I see what you're getting at. I see where the adjustments in my approach should be so that I present myself the correct way and he views me the correct way and then he treats me accordingly. Okay. Because that's what that is a lot of what we talk about in the Players Club. See, when we talk about being the most attractive version of yourself, it's not about doing more for the men. It's really about understanding how their mind works and understanding how you want to be viewed because he's going to treat you according to his perspective and view of you. So you strategically position yourself in a light that is exactly how you want to be viewed, and then he treats you accordingly. So you don't end up having to do anything more for him. You just end up having to focus on how he perceives you, knowing that his perception of you is going to lead to how he ends up treating you. And then once you understand that, then you're good. You're Gucci. Okay. Let's see here. We have a donation here. Let me read out this donation. Poker Chick says, just donates $10. It's just a super sticker. Thank you so much, Poker Chick. I appreciate that. Thank you so much to all of you that donate. Okay. Does that make sense? Fake Q says, I get why my past relationships ended. Okay. You see, we all make mistakes, including me. I make mistakes as well. I'm not an AI, or am I? And so we all learn and grow, but it's good when you step into the Players Club and you start to realize some things. You'll be like, okay, so now I see what the adjustment is. Okay. Now I see what the change is. Cause like I said, having a big dump truck is great. Having amazing yiddies is great, but the reality of it is the most attractive version of you isn't someone that has bigger yiddies or, a bigger dump truck. It's really the version of you that understands how to inspire particular actions in a man, understands how they think, understands how they go about relationships and approach them from a mental and emotional standpoint, and understanding how to adjust yourself into the right light so that he treats you the right way. Okay, that's the most attractive version of yourself, and that's the version of yourself that can get chased by anyone regardless of really what you look like. Looks do matter. I won't pretend like they don't, but they don't matter as much as you're imagining they do. Okay, you're not at a loss because your dump truck isn't as big as the next girls on TikTok. Okay, right? Says you must treat yourself in a certain way so you can attract who will treat you the way that you like to be treated 100%, which is part of the things that we talk about here in the Players Club. Ketsi says I'm average looking. Truthfully and honestly, it doesn't matter as much as you think it does. Okay, even being average looking, you can still attract a lot of men with your energy and with your mindset and with your approach. As weird and as strange as it sounds, probably no one will admit that to you, but it's honestly the truth. Okay. There's lots of women who can attract men without having the most ridiculous, crazy dump truck. And also never forget that men are into lots of different things. Okay. I'll assure you of that. There are men that are into plus size, petite, small, big, medium, all shapes, colors, and size. I can assure you. Men definitely have some different preferences. Not every man has the same preference. So never lose sight of that. Okay, never lose sight of that. Does that make sense to you guys so far? Cass says, is this real or is this a recorded video? It's 100% real. I can 100% see all of your messages. Okay. Nikki says, Ben don't care for real. they love mid women with Seth Rogen humor. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Men have all different preferences. Don't ever get stuck on the idea that men only have one particular preference. Now, obviously, there's overall standards to beauty, but don't think that because you have one particular physical trait that maybe is less than other women that you're all of a sudden, never gonna find a good man. That's not how that works. Okay, so number 1 is everyone is equal. Number 2 is being booked and busy. Number 3, you only get one shot. Number 4, this ain't nothing new. Okay. And number 5, and one of the most important ones here is that your life is full. Okay. You need to approach your relationships from the standpoint that, hey, I like you. I might even want you. But before you stepped into my life was already complete and full. Not that I don't need you or that I don't want you to be in my life, but you being in it is cool and amazing. You also not being in it is still cool and still amazing. I know, once again, like being booked and busy, that you're thinking, but Tomisin, that doesn't really even sound like I want to be in a relationship, Tomisin. Like, why would I not want to be in a relationship? Why would I want to have the mindset that I don't want to be in a relationship? As weird as it sounds, the moment you let go of the idea that I have to be in a relationship or else I have no value, I have no fun, I have nothing interesting to do in my life, that is the moment where you'll actually find the best relationship. Because you won't be so hyper fixated on just having a relationship. Instead, you'll be more fixated on learning and understanding that person, because you don't need them to be in your life for your life to be interesting. So you won't feel like you have to compromise what they bring into your life so that you can have this person, you can have a relationship. Because the absolute worst thing for you to do is to hop into your relationships or start dating people when you have the mindset that I need to be in a relationship. If I'm not in a relationship, I don't have value. If I'm not in a relationship and I'm not someone's girlfriend, then my life is literally boring. My life is literally useless. And I need something to focus my time and energy on because I have nothing going for myself. So I need this relationship to work out so badly. When you have that mindset, the moment you sit out in front of a person on a dinner date, you're going to be saying to yourself, you're literally going to be convincing yourself that anything they say or they do is not a big deal, that you can still work this out and be in a relationship with them. Why? Not because it's actually not a big deal, but because your priority is more on being in a relationship than it is on being in the right relationship with the right person. So everything they say and do that is not in line with what you want or what you're expecting, you're literally going to throw it out the window and pretend like it doesn't exist. That's why some of you end up in relationships or situationships that have lasted for years, and only after years are you saying to yourself, none of this is working out. I don't like the relationship I have. I don't like the dynamic that we have. I don't like the way that I'm treated, and this is all horrible for me. How do I fix this? And the thing about it is, you fix it by starting off dating people from the perspective that let my life be full first. When my life is full, then I'll be able to decide properly and clearly that when I'm sitting in front of you on this date, do you actually bring something positive into my life? Do I actually enjoy spending my time with you? Do I enjoy how I'm being treated by you? Do I enjoy this relationship overall? If the answer to that question is no, then I don't need to be spending my time with you. Simply because I will still have a great full life without you in it. You cannot start dating people when the life that you're living currently is just sitting around watching paint dry. Do not do that. Kitty just said it in the TikTok chat. Don't go into your dating stages, right, when you start dating people, relationship hungry. You will always end up with a worse partner because you're relationship hungry. Right? And a perfect example of that is food, actually. We talk about food a lot on the show, clearly. A perfect example of that is food. When you're starving, are you as picky as to what you'll eat when you're starving and you really want something to eat? Probably not. Because you're starving. So you'd rather just get something in you than to be super picky about what you eat at the expense of not being able to eat something right now. Because if you're starving, yeah, I could chef you up a 5-course meal that'll probably take me 5 hours to make, or maybe a day to make, because I got to marinate this, I got to make this from scratch and make that from scratch. And you're going to be saying, damn that, just give me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I'm so hungry. And see, the thing about that is, it's the same thing in your relationships. If your relationship's starved and you're so hungry for one and you're so desperate for one, you'll be willing to take on anyone that comes into your life, even if they're not what you're looking for, even if they're a rinky-dink peanut butter sandwich that's stale. You'll be like, I need a relationship. I need a man. Whoever the man is, I don't care if he's got one arm. I don't care if he's got one leg. I don't care if he's got a single eye, no eyes. I don't care if he's blind. Not that there's anything wrong with blind people. I don't care if he can barely walk. I don't care if he's got 2 front teeth. I want a relationship with a man. And when you go into your dating stages or your talking stages like that, you'll accept anything from anyone. And like we talked about, you won't be treating everyone equal. You'll make a lot of exceptions because you want this relationship to work out with this man. You won't be booked and busy because you'll be thinking about, how do I make more adjustments so I'm more free and more available to you so that you'll like me. You'll also not be giving him multiple opportunities. Why? Because you really, really want this to work and you don't want it to not work. So you're trying to give him as many opportunities to make this work and help this work. And you'll be desperate for him and for him to treat you right. And finally, for someone to treat you not like garbage. So this won't be like nothing new to you. Okay. So all of these things kind of work together and they intertwine into each other. And why this particular mindset will not only make you more attractive to men, but make you more secure in yourself, which in turn makes you more attractive to men. And as those men continue to pursue you, you get more of what you want and you spend less time compromising with men who are the ones approaching you. Because like I said earlier, never, ever, ever forget that you as the woman are the person being approached. You should be the one being approached. You shouldn't be going up to guys and approaching them and asking them out. Assuming you're the one being approached, it then is your job to say, okay, I'm going to analyze and decide on whether or not you're going to get access to me. It's not your job to compromise and negotiate with him on what it takes to get access to you. It's you that he wants access to. You get to set the rules. You get to set the standards. You get to set the expectations. Okay? Right? Someone says femininity rules the relationship. It truly does. Because if he wants something from you, then you get to decide what the terms are if he's going to get that thing from you. Just you can't never forget that as a reality. Okay? And that's the other thing. I don't want you guys to don't let men in your life, whether they be podcasters, whether they be relationship gurus, whoever they may be in your life, okay? Because I'm just a human being. Don't let people come into your life, especially the guys, and convince you that high value men don't pursue women. Okay. It's a trap and it's a trick that the men have used now to get you of the belief that it is your job to do the pursuing. High value men do pursue the woman that they want. Now, they don't chase around every single woman all over the place all the time, but they do pursue the woman that they actually want. The single woman that they actually want, they do pursue. LeBron James pursued his wife, okay? All of these amazing celebrity figures. Some people keep saying I'm lagging. My internet looks good. Am I lagging on YouTube, guys? It might just be TikTok because my internet looks good from here. Okay, right? All of these famous men, all of these famous celebrities, Lionel Messi, LeBron James, Cristiano Ronaldo, I just said a whole bunch of athletes, but all these famous men that are married, right? Do you expect me to believe that because they're so high value that their women took them out on dates, their woman courted them, their woman took care of them and gave them princess treatment? The reason I say that is because only a certain category of men will try to get you to believe in that so that you will start pursuing men in your life and hopefully you'll start pursuing them that they don't have to do any work. It's just a load of garbage. Now, high value men, they don't chase around women, like a hungry hyena, like with their tail cut off, with their tail wagging, just any woman. They pursue the right woman that they know they're looking for because that's the type of woman they're looking for. Okay? Not every woman, but they'll chase the right woman that they actually want and identify that that's who they're looking for. So never forget that, and never forget that you're in a position of power if you are what that man wants. Okay? Never forget that. Don't get all caught up in the mindset that, if I want him to, then I got to make sure that I do backflips and front flips and make it as easy for him to get access to me as I possibly can so that he'll be with me. Don't do that. Don't become a pick-me-sha. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay? Right? Adriana says, what to say when they ask you what you're looking for. I've actually mentioned that before on the show. And when someone asks you what you're looking for, just be very vague. I'm looking for someone who's nice, someone who's interesting, someone who's funny, right? Say a bunch of vague, generic stuff simply because at the very beginning, you don't know what men are going to do with that information. I'm just being honest with you. They're strangers. You're dating a stranger. And a lot of times, if you go into too specific detail about exactly what you're looking for, guys will realize that the best way to get to your heart is by simply making themselves a one-to-one replica suit of exactly what you described you're looking for. They will just become that. They'll zip up their suit. They'll make you feel like they're your Prince Charming. They'll sleep with you. And once they get to jackrabbit themselves inside of you for 90 seconds or less, they will then unzip their Prince Charming suit, step out of it and say, goodbye forever now. I finally got what I was here for. And you'll be like, wait, what? What just happened? So I say that to say, don't do yourself a disservice by giving that valuable, sensitive information to a random stranger until you can ensure that you can actually trust him because he's here for the right reasons, not just here to take advantage of you and utilize you and then discard of you, okay? I just have to let you guys in on that. Not that every man in the world is bad, but you just have to understand you're dating strangers. So you have no idea what they're actually here for. And so it's best for you to keep a lot of your cards close to the chest, ask him a lot of questions, gather a lot of information about him, so then you can make a good decision about whether or not you're going to be giving him access to you. I know it sounds a lot like a game. We can call it that, but the reality of it is that's the world that we live in, and that's the dating game. The person with the most information always wins, always, okay? Someone said, what was number 4? I'll just go through the points as they stand. I'm not going to talk about them. Number 1 was everyone is equal. Number 2 is booked and busy. Number 3 is you only get one shot. Number 4, nothing new. And number 5, life is full. You can find all of those points, like you can rewatch the entire show. It's available on my YouTube. My YouTube name is just on the top right of my screen here. And once you type in my YouTube name on YouTube, I'm live on YouTube at the same time as TikTok. And you can rewind this and rewatch it. Just go over into the live section. That's where it'll be, okay? For those of you who want to rewatch the points or maybe you missed a part, okay? Does that make sense to you guys so far? Vicky says, how do we know if they genuinely want us? Length of the chase. So if they keep chasing after pineapples, it's genuine. What if they just want more pineapples? Okay. Vicky asked a question that I know a lot of you really love to ask, and I love to answer for you all so that you have a better understanding of this. I'm just a human being, so maybe I could be wrong. I know that a lot of other relationship gurus and experts, okay, I just a human being, will tell you that the best way to go about this is to have the specific timeline and date set in your calendar for how long you should let it be until you let a man sleep with you. Sounds great in theory, but in reality, because me and you are friends and I know how we really live our lives, okay? We don't live our lives in a book. We don't live our lives on a piece of paper or on a calendar. The reality of it is, I know that if I just simply tell you a specific date that you should be waiting for or time period that you should be waiting for, your mind is going to be fixated on Tomisin told me to wait exactly 93 days, 3 hours, and 33 seconds. So that's exactly how long I'm going to wait until I let him sleep with me. The problem with that is your mind will be so fixated on how much time has passed and not fixated on how much information have I extracted. And see, the thing about it is, in the process of that 93 days, 3 hours, and 33 seconds, you might have only gone on one date every 2 weeks with him. You might have only gone on one date every 2 weeks with him and have a silly chit chat about nothing. that you don't really know him. You don't know anything about him. You don't know about his past relationships. You don't know how what his approach is. You don't know what he wants here. You don't even know really how he treats you because you only see him on Saturday nights for 2 hours at a time and you talk about literally nothing. And so I say that to say, when your focus is all about how much time has passed, you can get to the 93rd day, 3 hours and 33 seconds. You open your legs wide, he jackrabbits himself inside of you, and you're thinking in your mind, I did a good thing, Tomisin. Someone said yesterday that they were slurping a man off and they were thinking about me and our show. So anyways, you might be getting jackrabbited for 90 seconds thinking, oh my God, Tomisin, I did such a good thing. I waited exactly 93 days, 3 hours and 33 seconds. But in reality, after he jackrabbits himself inside of you, you realize that you don't actually know him. And in the 90-day span that has gone on, you were so focused on the timeline and not focused on extracting information that all you did on these dates that you had, these dinner dates, was talk about nothing. And you've extracted no information from him in a whole 90 days. And now you finally slept with him and you still don't know anything about him. So the same thing happens. You get tricked into sleeping with the man and then you realize afterwards that he's actually not what you thought he was. Which is precisely why I tell all of you, rather than focusing on a timeline or how much time has passed, be focusing on how much information you're extracting. How well do you know the person? Have you not only... See, I always tell you guys, this is what I want you to never forget. I never want you to feel like you actually know someone until you see them in a range of emotions. If you only know what someone is like when they're happy, you don't know them. You absolutely don't know them. If you only know what someone is like when they feel good on a Saturday night and they're out on a dinner date with you, you do not know that person. Before you can even think that you know someone, you need to see them when they're angry, when they're upset, when they're stressed out, when they're not feeling well, when they're, when they're going through things, when they're going through family situations, work situations. You need to see them throughout the range of emotions before you can even decide that you know them, because everyone is good at putting on a mask and putting on a front when they're happy and everything's going well. It's a lot harder to keep that mask up throughout the range of emotions. And so if you're more focused on, let me go through a range, let's see what happens when we get into our first fight. It will come. Let's see what happens when we get into our first disagreement. Let's see what happens when we're dating or we're seeing each other and you're stressed out. Let's see how much you prioritize me when you got other responsibilities. Let's see, how well you treat me when you're not so happy with me or when you're angry at me. Let's see how respectful you are then. Right? These are all the things that you need to do and experience with someone before you actually know them. And when you go through that range of emotions, then less things become a shocker to you and a surprise to you. You start to say, oh no, I know how you respond to this. I know how you react in this. Excuse me. And I know how you really are. And you're able to better build an entire profile on the human being that you're spending this time with, as opposed to just building your profile on how nice they are to you when they're happy on a Saturday night for 2 hours on a dinner date. Right? Yeah, excuse me. That was a big burp. Okay. Does that make sense? Don't be focused on timelines in terms of marking off dates on your calendar. Focus on information, experiences, and going through that range of emotions. Okay? Way better use of your time. And that will get you way farther. Vicky says, LOL, the guy I'm talking to has been chasing for 2 years. He says he wants commitment, but I'm just scared of getting hurt by another man. My own issues, putting him through testing hoops. Nothing wrong with that. I don't want any of you to be moving at a pace that's faster than what you're ready for. So if you're Vicky and for 2 years you need a lot of time to be able to understand, hey, who are you? What are you here for? What are you about? All that good stuff. Then take your 2 years. I don't want you. See, the thing about it is people like to give you cookie cutter answers because they're too lazy to give you an answer that requires nuance. I'm not that lazy. I'm going to give you a nuanced answer because the truth is, for some of you, it's going to take 2 years. For some of you, it might only take 3 or 4 months. For some of you, it might take 7 or 8 months. It really depends on your situation, the frequency in which you see someone, and how much information you're able to extract in that time period. And also your level of comfortability. And that could also be based on what you've been through, your own self-experiences, your childhood experiences, so many other factors that I want to try to prepare you the best way by giving you the real answer. And the real answer is experiencing someone in a plethora of different situations until you can be satisfied in feeling like, no, I actually know you for real. Not I know you when you're happy and you're things are going well on a Saturday night, but I actually know you for real. Some of you are sleeping with men that you don't even know what they're like when they're angry. If you don't know, it's trust you me. If you don't even know what a guy is like when he's angry, you don't know that man. You don't know him. Cause trust me, you gonna figure out some really weird, strange stuff about people when you meet them and they're angry. Trust me. You're going to see a whole different side to people when you meet them and they angry and things aren't hunky-dory and going amazing, whether they're angry at you or they're angry at another situation and you're just there with them. We'll tell you a lot. So if you don't know the answer to that and you don't know how someone is when they're angry, don't be thinking that you actually know that person. It's part of the reason why some of you get fooled a lot by sleeping with men early on. And then afterwards, you're like, Tomisin, but I thought he was so amazing at first. Tomisin, but I thought everything was going to be going to be great at first. I thought he would be the best boyfriend ever at first. And how come he's not the best boyfriend still? I have to be honest with you, okay? I have to be honest with you. Does that make sense to you guys so far? Okay. Trina says we broke up when he got angry. He said the most diabolical things. I tell you guys. I'm actually telling you from real human being experience. I ain't no AI and I ain't no relationship guru. I actually a real human being with real experience, real life. Me, real life. Me actually exist in real life. Okay. It's actually real me. So I say that to say that, like, trust me. You don't really know someone until you meet them when they're angry and they're going through that range of emotions. Don't just allow yourself to be living in la la land where you think that they're perfect because you meet them and things are nice. Okay, right? So Tanya says, please, the relevant subjects one to have to know to really know someone. I actually kind of talked about that in an episode earlier this week, but I can make a whole show referring to that because I like to dive deep into stuff. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I should say ladies, women, beautiful souls. I want to ask you a question. Are you aware of what time it is? I need to know. Because I feel like since there's a lot of new people here, some of you might not be quite aware of what time it is. So I'm going to ask, do you know what time it is? I want to know in the chat now, what time is it? Do you know what time it is? In the chat now, I want to know what time it is. Can you tell me what time it is? Here we go now. I want to know what time it is. Can you tell me what time it is? Here we go now. I want to know what time it is. Can you tell me what time it is? Here we go now. I want to know what time it is. Can you tell me what time it is? Here we go now. I want to know what time it is. Can you tell me what time it is? In the chat, what time is it? In the chat now. What time is it? In the chat now. Tell me what time is it? In the chat now. What time is it? In the chat now. Know what time it is. I want to 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 know. Scored time. Okay, guys, let's hop into the Discord where we have some amazing questions. For those of you who are confused, it's okay to be confused. You'll learn something. So basically in the Discord, we have our Players Club Discord chat channel where all the amazing members of the Discord get an opportunity to ask me personal questions about their relationship or their situationship, and I answer them live on the show, and the chat gives their 2 cents as well. Now, there are 2 ways you can send in your question to the relationship advice Discord, or the Players Club Discord. Now, you have the free section of relationship advice where you can send your question. It is first come, first serve, so I have to answer the questions based on the oldest one. You can just submit it, and I'll answer it when I get to it after I answer all the other ones. Now, the problem is, as you see me scrolling, there's hundreds of questions in the free section, and if you ask yours today, it'll take me a little bit over 1 month to answer yours, okay? That's not to be mean to you. I just have to go in order of first come, first serve, and there's a lot in here. Now, you have another option if you want to skip the line and you just are super impatient. You can head over into premium relationship advice, where it's like a VIP pass at a theme park. You get to skip the line and you don't have to wait for all these other people, because I do these questions first before I go into the free section. Now, obviously, in order to get access to premium relationship advice, all you got to do is donate to the show and ask your question. So how you donate to the show is by going into the link in my bio, and whether you're on TikTok or the link in my description if you're on YouTube, and you click that link, you'll see where it says premium relationship advice. You donate to the show, and in your message when you donate, you put in your Discord username and you put in the title of your question. That way, I get the notification from my end, and I can verify that that's you, like I can verify all these other people in Premium Relationship Advice Discord. And then I know that you did it the right way, and you, if you're in the VIP section, you're supposed to be there, okay? Does that make sense? That's how you do that. So 2 options for you there. So let's start off with Anna, who says dates, okay? So I think this was a continuation of Anna's from before. And she asked a question before, and then she donated again and asked another question. So this is part 2 of Anna's question, and she donated twice. Okay, you gotta donate for each question. You can't ask multiple questions multiple times and only donate once. I just like to keep it fair for people. Okay. Anna says, another thing is, my friend is a good friend. It's just that guys will sometimes try to become close to her. Sorry, so let me just give you a little summary of this. So essentially what Anna is talking about, she was asking a few questions about how long dates should be. And she was talking about how her friend essentially, when guys approach her friend, they will talk to her friend the entire night. And when they talk to her friend the entire night, they only after that, her friend will tell her that the guy she was talking to the entire night came up to her friend because that guy wanted to talk to her. So I said that that's kind of strange. It makes me feel like she's trying to sabotage you. Something weird is going on. So then Anna goes on to say, another thing is, my friend is a good friend. It's just that the guys will sometimes try to become closer to her. And then they will be like, your friend is really pretty. Is she single, etc. I find it very weird behavior, because why can't they just speak to me like normal guys do? They will often complain to her that I am standoffish and do not talk to them, or that they are in love with me, but I do not seem interested. I don't know what I am doing to seems to standoffish. I am not. I mind my own business unless I am spoken to. Most men that are interested will immediately tell me they, I think you might say there and then. But those ones that complain about me being standoffish, etc., I find very weird, because it's not like they even tried to talk to me in the first place. Okay, so this is another thing here. If you're saying that there are men that approach you, then you're basically saying this is only a certain portion of men that are too scared to approach you, and then they say that you're standoffish. So that's a them problem, not a you problem. Because the guys that have the balls and the cojones to approach you, they do that. So don't worry yourself about the guys that don't, because those are too much of soy boys that you don't even want to be spending your time around those men anyways. And they will text her again and again about me. Once again, we're not in high school, okay? We're not in high school. So if the men that want you can't be like, God, I don't want to get mad. If the men that want you are texting your friend about you, oh, can you tell your friend I think she's cute? Just please step far away from those men. You don't want those men in your life, okay? Like, there needs to be a level of maturity where like men get to a point where they can say, okay, I sees you, I wants you, I go and get you, or I try. This weird, oh, I talk to your friend and tell your friend that I think she's cute. Maybe your friend can come talk to me so that I don't have to fear rejection. Get rid of the men like that in your life. Don't even be bothered to talk to those men, okay? One time I told her I wouldn't date one of those guys because his following gives me the ick. He followed so much girls that didn't follow him back. And I don't know why she told him, but she did. And he literally unfollowed 400 people right after. Your friend is sabotaging you a little bit here, not to put a wedge between you and your friend, but I don't know why your friend is doing that. She's sabotaging you a bit. It's just weird as hell and confusing. Or sometimes they will creepily stare at me so long and add me on social media, but never ask me out. One of them went up to the teacher to ask my name, saying that I was with him in the group project, even though I wasn't, so he could find me on social media. That's some Joe from you type of energy. I think you should probably want to stay away from those type of men. But he never texted me or talked to me. I don't get it. Why go through all that for nothing? I barely even use social media in the first place. I only have one Instagram post of me with my friends, or they will try to talk to me, but they are very shy and can barely utter a sentence. I would have actually been interested in one of them because he seems like a smart, nice guy, but I'm confused. Do they expect me to carry the convo? That will never happen. They are being very delusional. That's funny. I know I'm not doing anything wrong, but they make me feel like I am this mean, standoffish person, and I don't want to be seen like that. Okay, Anna, I want to let you in on a secret. The men that are too scared to approach you, you don't need to be talking to them anyways, and who cares what they think? Never forget this. You're not looking to be with every man. You only want to be with one man. And so the man you're looking for has particular criteria and character traits, which is why he's the man you're looking for. So every guy that doesn't fit that criteria, don't even bother yourself worrying about what they think of you. Do you understand what I'm saying? The man who follows 400 people that don't follow him back, don't even bother wondering what he thinks about you or what he wants from you. You don't want him. So why does it matter what he thinks? Why does it matter what he wants? Why does it matter if he follows you or unfollows you? You don't even care to be with him or be in a relationship with him. He already gives you the ick. So sometimes what happens is, I know that you're a woman and we all do this. Sometimes we get lost in a cycle of focusing our time and our energy in places where it doesn't even serve us. So, and we don't realize it. You're spending a lot of your time caring about what people think about you that aren't even the guys that you want. Like, this message is exclusively targeted to understand men that you don't want. Because you're telling me that you don't like men that won't approach you or talk to your friend exclusively and not talk to you and not reach out to you and only talk to your friend all the time. You're telling me that you don't like those men. You're telling me that you don't want to be with a man like that. But yet you're proceeding to ask me, well, why do those men do that? Who cares why those men do that? Those aren't the men that you want. Why don't we figure out how to focus your time and attention on the men that you do want and spending more time in environments where they are and spending more time talking to those men? Because I just don't see what you want me to give you and answer why the men that you don't want are being weird. Who cares? What are you going to do with that knowledge? Nothing. You don't want those men anyways. So why does it matter if you know what they're doing or what they think? Who cares if men that are too scared to approach you think you're standoffish? They're too scared to approach you. So who cares? Like, you see how that works, right? Even if you were thinking about how to adjust yourself or change yourself, they're still too scared to approach you. That's part of the reason why they don't approach you. You have to understand there's a lot of men out there that are so terrified of rejection and so terrified of taking a leap of faith and doing anything hard, right? Those are the same men that sit on dating apps all day because it's way harder to go out to a club, meet a girl, be interesting, have a conversation with her, and be charming and get her number and chat with her. It's a lot easier to just, not even have to wipe the crust stains on nut stains off of your pants, hold up your phone and start swiping left and right on random girls that you've never met before and don't even have to speak to. And even better than that, for those men, they don't even have to see the girls that reject them because they only match with the girls that want them. So there's a lot of men that get accustomed to that, and they are in such fear of rejection that they only want to talk to a girl unless they're guaranteed that that girl wants them. So they'll do things like going to ask the professor your name and then following you, like you said, or talking to your friend and saying that, oh, I think you're cute, hoping that your friend will communicate that to you, and then maybe you'll come up to him. They want to avoid rejection, and they're too scared of having to put themselves out there, so they do it like this. But my advice to you is don't focus your mind on what they're doing or why they're doing it, because those aren't even the men you should even be wanting, or focusing any of your attention on what they're doing or why they do the things that they do, because they aren't the guys that you want. See what I'm saying, Anna? Okay. So let's figure out how we can think about what the men that you want are doing and what they think of you, rather than the men that you don't want are doing and what they think of you. Because you being standoffish doesn't mean anything as long as the men you do want you and approach you. Okay. So next year we have Notorious MJT puts a part 3 here. Okay. So Notorious MJT puts screenshots here. Let me just look through my thing here. Notorious MJT says, okay, yeah, I see it. Notorious MJT says, "Hi, Tomisin. Thank you for your response. I really appreciate it. Some info about myself. I'm 31 and ZZ is 32, divorced, one child." You guys got to go back to yesterday's show to know what she's referring to. You got to be here like every day. If you miss one day, you're not. It's like a reoccurring episode. Okay, we have seasons here. Just so the situation is understood better, I'm a single mother of 4 kids. My eldest is 14 years old. I had my first child young, and coming from an African background, my parents were disappointed in me. I really had to grow up quick. So ever since I had the pressure to be the most perfect human being ever, I got married, had more children, got divorced due to DV. I don't get support from my family or father of the children. He's busy running the streets and has gambling issues, so I don't get financial support either. I was a hijabi. I left Islam about 4 years ago, so I never was a party or a clubs person. I have been home doing wife duties and raising kids for so long. I only have one friend. She is 3 hours away. I met her because our husbands were friends. So no friends in my state. I have never cheated on anyone. So if ZZ and I had a title, oh sorry, let me just give you a little background on this. So because I know some of you will be lost at this point. So Notorious MJT met one guy, the first guy, who is ZZ. She met him on a dating app. And so she had some conversation with him. She slurped him off, or we won't even say slurped him off. She did things with him. She just didn't sleep with him. And so in the process of that, things kind of fizzled out a little bit with ZZ. And then a couple of, I believe it was days or maybe just a couple of weeks after that, she met another guy. You didn't mention it in this message, but she met guy number 2. And long story short, guy number 2, she ended up sleeping with after the second time hanging out with him. And after she slept with him, she realized that guy number 2 and ZZ, guy number 1, were friends. So she basically smashed 2 homies. She's really nervous now because she's like, I actually like ZZ and I want to build something with him. And guy number 2, things are fizzling out and I don't think I like him as much because he's inconsistent. But now she's worried that what should I do with ZZ? Should I tell him? Because now she's thinking that ZZ won't like her anymore. So that's kind of her conundrum, long story short. So she says, no friends in my state. I've never cheated on anyone. So if ZZ and I had a title, I would have never entertained another person, LB. Sorry, LB was guy number 2. The hookup with LB wasn't due to low self-esteem. Excuse me. I just felt really lonely, especially since I am always busy with kids and running a business. I go a long period of time without intimacy, so I slipped and no, my kids was not around when I was with ZZ or LB. I have been focusing on my bag for years and now would like to settle down soon. See, nothing wrong with wanting to settle down and nothing wrong with wanting to build a relationship, but that's the thing. If you want to settle down and you want to build a relationship, then your focus should be settling down and building, keyword building a relationship. Building a relationship is not sleeping with someone the second time that you meet them. Now, I know we all make mistakes, and I'm not trying to say you're a bad person because of that. But when you're saying you want to build something, and then you're saying that you want that relationship and that connection, but then you're sleeping with the guy that you just met, and he hasn't even taken you, because guy number 2, he never even took you out on a date. You just hung out at his place. and you only saw him twice before sleeping with him. So how it's so hard to build something off of that when you allow that to be the jump off point of the relationship. You know what I mean? I would also like to say it was a good thing that you got into my head while making out with Zizi. Remember what we said last time? She was like hooking up with him, talking about, oh, I was thinking about you, Tomisin. I was thinking about this show. So you popped into my head while I was making out with him, touching all over him. That's literally what she said in her last message, guys. It's not a joke, okay? Anyways, because I pictured you telling me no pineapples. Is that what you guys picture now? You guys are dreaming of me and picturing me while you're with other men? That's insane. That's insane. I didn't know the show would come to this. I watch you every day. Also, the lack of self-control with LB was not because of alcohol, as I don't drink. Okay. Still concerning to me, because the lack of self-control, even when you're sober, that's not good. Okay. I really do think it was the fact that I had been celibate for so long and my ovulation really changes me. Okay. So for those of you ovulation monsters, okay, if you're an ovulation monster, stay away from men when you're ovulating. I'm not even joking here. Okay. Like this, there comes a point where as adults, we all need to become more self-aware, realize our own character flaws, and accept them for them being those character flaws. That way, we can start figuring out how to work with those character flaws and make adjustments so that we don't have to suffer from that character flaw. So if you're an ovulation monster and you know when you start ovulating, you're literally twitching and you're soaked all day and you just can't think straight, just don't date men during that time period. Like, don't go on dates with them, and definitely don't go over to the other place. I know it sounds silly, but like at the end of the day, you have to help yourself. So if you know when you start ovulating, you literally can't think straight, don't even bother being in a position where you can fall prey to temptation. Because there's 100% chance, if you're an ovulation monster and you haven't been touched in a really long time, or you really need it, or you're really feeling it, or you get triggered because you start making out with someone, you're going to fold. And we don't want that for you. Get you the Tracy's dog like I have in my description. I literally got the discount for you guys so that you guys can have something that you use to play with yourself, regardless of whether you like to get vacuumed up with your clit or whether you like penetration. It's all there for you with the Tracy's dog and the affiliate links and the recommendations in my description or in the link in my bio on TikTok. And I really mean that, so that you guys can focus a little bit. Because if you're an ovulation monster, if you're just in general a monster, we need to kind of curb that and hold that at bay so that you can build the right relationships. Then you can go crazy, because going crazy first is not the move. Okay, someone said getting vacuumed up. Look at the toy and you'll understand why I say get vacuumed up. Okay, you'll get it once you see the toy. So then this is a message from him that he sent to you. So we'll kind of just skim through this here. He says, good evening. I think it would be a fair conclusion if you concluded about your own feelings and not mine when communication was mostly texting. So I'm assuming this is to ZZ, right? Did you say that here? Read below viewing the text things. So this is to ZZ, I'm assuming. When communication was mostly texting, I could say there was no day I didn't text, as given my circumstances, it's my preferred form of communication. Sure, I don't mind calling, but that's your preferred mode of communication given your circumstances, and I've never gotten a call or even a missed call from you. Sure, you said I might be at work, but that doesn't stop you from calling me or returning your call when I'm able to. I understand you have other priorities like your kids and business and also dealing with the law. That's why I've been going with the flow. It's fine. Going with the flow is never a good terminology. It's fine if have met someone else, all good. I have enjoyed our time together, even though it was, was that the next one? Even though it was, I think you just cut it off. Even though it was short, I wish you the best. So is this ZZ or is this LB? I came to that conclusion when the phone cut out the other night and you didn't call me back. I don't know, maybe I'm a bit old-fashioned, but I do believe if you were interested, you would pursue me because, okay, I know what you were trying to do here, Notorious MJT, but you're going about this the wrong way. I never advise any of you to be trying to like show the men why they should care about you and want to be in this relationship with you and want to treat you the right way. The reason I say that is because you telling him all this is not going to make him say, gee, thank you for helping me realize that I should treat you better. I'm now going to make an adjustment and treat you so much differently than I've been treating you. What usually ends up happening is they either invalidate your feelings, deny them, or give some sort of explanation as to why they haven't been doing it, but they don't believe that you're necessarily in the right and that they should start treating you differently now. So it kind of ends up being a waste of your breath. You know what I mean? It's better for you to show him that if he's not going to treat you a certain way, then you withdraw from him. Let's go on. You would pursue me because the man is the person that leads. Okay. Maybe we're both seeing things differently. I don't want to be reaching out while you're busy working or when you're having time with your daughter. That's why I preferred you reaching out. I don't like to feel like I'm stepping in your space. I also don't like being in a confused state as I have been asked. As I have been asked you to visit me the first and second time, and you haven't shown interest to ask if you could see me. Okay, so once again, you're asking a guy to treat you a certain way, but you're like more like begging for him to do this for you. And see, this, I hate to explain it to you guys like this because I know that you're trying to communicate, but you have to realize that guys end up doing what they want to do. So when he treats you with a whole bunch of inconsistency, it's because he doesn't really have that much interest. So you telling him all the ways he's showing you inconsistency and that he doesn't have a lot of interest doesn't really make him show you more interest. It actually just confirms to him in his own mind that he doesn't really like you that much, which is why he's not showing you a lot of interest. Very weird, I know, but it's true. It's so strange to me because I felt like this could have been really nice, and it's not that I met someone. It's just that I can't allow myself to be confused because you obviously know that I wanted you. And then he goes on to say, let's see. Wow, this is a whole paragraph. So we'll skim through this a little bit. This is a lot. Communication should possibly be reciprocated. Okay, there is nothing wrong with reaching out. So he's basically throwing it back on you. I know you have invited me a couple of times and I've turned, however, so he's just making an excuse for why he couldn't do it. If I'm not interested in someone, then I won't get turned on. Okay, wait. I apologize if I've confused you. I don't know about other guys, but if I'm not interested in someone, then I won't get turned on. I think the last couple of times showed I'm interested, and the ending was something I've never experienced, like I told you. Where is the other message here? Oh, like I told you. Wait, what was that? Since I last saw you, I got injured playing soccer and missed work a lot last week. Sure, my injury is recovering, but it's been 2 weeks or more still painful as I can't run or jog. I can walk though, and if I come see you, I don't know if I'll be able to resist, and that might be a bad injury. That might be bad for my injury, considering how voluptuous I think he meant to say you are. Okay. All right. So then he says, good evening. This is like the same message over again. This is the update. ZZ, when he visited me on the 5th of August to see how I was doing, as I was going through a lot and getting the news of my aunt dying from cancer. I will be traveling back home soon to see her, and she doesn't have long to live. ZZ has still been texting me every day, but I had a little problem with this, which I mentioned to him. Well, in all honesty, I was going to call it quits because it's the same checking up on me on repeat, and I'm so tired of texting. I have mentioned to LB I'm worried that will make me out as a fun girl, which I'm not. What do you mean? Like you've mentioned to LB about ZZ? They don't hang out with the same friend group. They're just friends on IG, but they do work for the same company. You're cooked. You're cooked. Notorious MJT, you're cooked. I know this because my sister-in-law works at the same company. You're cooked. You're cooked. Am not talking or seeing anyone else. I booked LB a week after our last contact. You're cooked. It's just not, it's very... Let's go on and then I'll answer all of this. Am still unsure what to do regarding this and hoping nothing gets out. I will put the issue I have discussed with him via text below. I have agreed to give it a go and not end things. I felt it was right. He was right about me never reaching out. I'm still struggling reaching out more. I haven't called him either, but now what? Stay in the repeat loop of replying to his text. I don't want to end things straight away because I do see good qualities. He's a good father, a hard worker. He also studies accounting. He's not a party type either. We still haven't had pineapples. So the experience he messaged in text about was about me giving him head, which you said you were thinking about our show when you were giving him head. I think you said that. As he did say that no one has ever given him such an amazing experience, and he never, I think this is meant to represent, busted a nut by anyone giving him head before. I know it's TMI. We're in the Discord, so it gets crazy. Do we just stay away from each other so we both don't get tempted? Because that's what it feels like now. Sorry if this is too much info. Thanks for your advice, MJT. Okay. Lot to unpack here. So here's the thing. They work together, right? So they might not be close friends. I'm trying to see where you said they work at the same company. They might not be close friends, but let's assume, so they're, me being Nigerian, I can let you in on the secret that Nigerian men tend to gravitate towards other Nigerian men. So if he works in a company and he knows that this guy is also Nigerian, there's a good chance that they're probably going to talk to each other at some point. Here's the biggest fear of mine and why I think the best thing for you to do is to get ahead of the story. Sorry, to get ahead of it. Because the absolute worst experience that he can have, ZZ, the guy that you actually want to be with, is the experience that he goes to work and in the process of talking about, let's say, you and his relationship with you, let's say just for the sake of whatever, you never know how conversations strike, that they are having a conversation and when he talks about you and shows a picture of you, that guy, I'm talking about LB, starts laughing and going, wait, what? Your girl? That's your girlfriend? No, bro. Tell me you're joking. No, you're joking, right? And then ZZ goes, wait, what? What do you mean? What are you talking about? And then he goes, oh no, bro. Oh no. And then he goes, yo, I'll be honest with you, bro. I literally smashed that girl a couple of weeks ago at my place. And he's like, are you sure? This girl? I've been talking to her for like the past couple of, what do you mean? I've been talking to her for the past couple of weeks. When did you smash? And then he looks through his phone and he goes, no, look at the messages. And he shows the message of the time that you came over to his place. And then this is the worst thing. And then ZZ looks at his phone and he realizes that the messages line up like literally only a week after you guys took a break from talking, you went over to his place and you guys smashed. And then he realizes, no, that really is you. And that really is you messaging him and that he really did smash a week after you guys took a little bit of a break. You don't, I need to explain this to you so that you can understand why this would be why I want you to do a certain thing. That version of that story is the absolute most embarrassing, humiliating experience that ZZ could possibly go through with you. Absolutely most embarrassing, humiliating experience. So if you want him to loathe you and despise you, then don't say anything and hope that the day never comes. But if the day does come, that will be the end of your relationship, because that experience will be so humiliating and demoralizing. He'll never want anything to do with you after that. So I say that to say, if you want to avoid that possibility, the best thing for you to do is to get ahead of it. That way you can explain it to him in a way that doesn't sound as horrible and humiliating as he will get it explained to him by that guy. Because I can assure you, I'm a guy, so I'm going to actually help you here. I can assure you, the way that you will explain it will be a lot less harsh than the way that that other guy will explain it. He's going to explain it like, oh, bro, you want to know how I took her and I flipped her upside down and I was throwing her up against the wall. I was spitting in her face. Yo, I went crazy on her. Oh, man, you wouldn't believe how I treated that. I ain't take her out for no dates. She was over at my plate, bro. I ain't spend no money on her. She bought the Uber. He's going to be going insane. Why? Because his ego is attached to it, that he gets to have the one up on this guy and say, yo, the girl you're dating, I treated her crazy. I did whatever even if it's untrue, even if it's an over exaggeration, he's going to go ham because this is a guy ego thing. This is his chance to basically say, I got a bigger PP than you, like emotionally and psychologically. Like, that's why I say it's so humiliating for him to go through that experience. You do the job of going out and saying, look, this happened. I want to explain why this happened. There was confusion and all that good stuff. Now you have to realize when you explain that to him, one of two things might happen. He might say, you know what? Even though it upsets me, I understand why you did it and I understand why there was confusion and all is forgiven. He might take a little bit and he might forgive you. He might also say, you know what? That's so humiliating for me, or I just don't want anything to do with you. And he might not talk to you after that. But you have to accept that the best thing for you and your future is to get through this so that it's not something weighing on you as a possibility of ending your relationship. Because the worst possible scenario for you is for you to continuously invest yourself in this guy and for years of your life to go on with this guy. And for some odd way, this comes out and then he breaks up with you or begins cheating on you because he resents you for never telling him this. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right? So don't make your life harder by not saying anything, hoping that this will never come to the light, right? I know some of you are like, oh, but don't tell him, don't tell him, don't tell him. They're both Nigerian, okay? So be logical, guys. People of the same background and ethnicity tend to get closer to each other in the workplace. At least have conversation. We usually share the same language. We have the same background. It's a way, it's a way to identify with people and build a tribe of people in a place like a workplace. So it's not likely that they're never going to talk or speak to each other. They work for the same company. And especially if it's a small company, they probably see each other. Okay? And sorry, for those of you who don't know, they do follow each other as well on social media. So it's not like they're working for the same company and they're complete strangers. So I say that to say you're fighting a losing battle, hoping that they never come across each other and this never becomes a thing. Especially if you're thinking to yourself that you want to date ZZ, eventually he's going to be telling people that you're his girlfriend. So then what happens when he tells this guy that you're his girlfriend? Don't be silly, okay? And don't be thinking that you're going to avoid the heartbreak by not saying anything. You made the mistake, but use that as a lesson to say to yourself, whatever happens from here, I have to deal with it because those were my choices. This is part of becoming an adult, guys, is realizing sometimes you will make mistakes. We all do, including me. And sometimes those mistakes have consequences. If you sleep with two good friends or you sleep with two friends, sometimes those friends are not going to want you to take you seriously anymore. Unfortunate, but it is true. And I know you didn't mean to make that mistake, but unfortunately, sometimes it's a mistake. Now, the bright side is you might also tell him and he might forgive you. So you never know. That's also a possibility. But yes, you might tell him and he might not forgive you. So my advice to you is to tell him. Get ahead of this so that you don't have to be looking over your shoulder for the entire rest of the time you're building a relationship with him. Don't lie. Don't omit it. Don't avoid it thinking you're never going to have to deal with it, because the day it comes up, you'll be effed forever. So tell him first and then see what transpires after that. Okay. Next year we have, let's see, we have here Lola Chapsky. Okay. Interesting name. Lola says the right way to show I have other options. So Lola says, hey Tomisin, thank you for all your amazing advice. My question is how to make a guy feel that I have other options, like typical IG stories in a romantic setting or tagging a guy friend, or telling him stories of how I got approached, or have a stalker who is in love with me. Is that true? Do you actually have a stalker? I guess I wonder how to not overdo it so he believes it. Instead of thinking I'm doing pineapples with others, I feel like it's a fine line. Do you have any specific examples from your personal life or friends where you got triggered and realized that the girl was popular with others, etc.? I think this can be useful for many girls, especially in talking stages, so that the guy would want to lock us in a relationship. Okay, this is actually a good question, and I understand why it's kind of a conundrum for some of you. Okay, so I always will advise you that the very first and best thing you can do for someone if you want to communicate something to them is to show them that. Okay, so I would love that. So when you're dating someone, it's kind of hard for you to show them that other people like want you or like you. I'll give you a little bit of an example. So when you're building a relationship with someone, you're not just going to be on dinner dates with them. You're also going to go out places with them, like to parties, to hangouts, to events, and things like that. Now, I want you to take that as an opportunity to kind of like, because if you're an attractive woman, other people are going to want to have conversations with you. Other people are going to want to talk to you. So when you go to these parties or events, I don't just want you to be attached to the hip of the guy that you're with. I actually want you to venture out and talk to other people, join some other groups, have some other conversations. And I want you to let him see that other men also want to have conversations with you. Now, you don't have to be super fake. You don't have to touch people. You don't have to start giving them handies or anything like that. I just want you to allow him to see that not only are you interesting to him, but you're also interesting to other people as well. It's a good, subtle way of him seeing that, yeah, other people are interested in you and fascinated by you and would love to talk to you and have conversation with you. It's not just him. So don't be attached to someone's hip when you go out with them, especially when you go out to an event or to a party or something like that. Be social, right? And so it lets them see that. Now, another good way to do that is in telling stories about past experiences. However, I want your stories to be subtle in the things that you're inferring and not so much like, oh, you wouldn't believe how many guys are in my DMs. That comes across a bit, a bit like too much. I would rather you talk about the experiences that you've had in guys courting you and just them not being your type, right? And the way that you can describe your past experiences in a way that makes it look like you're someone that's really desirable, I'd rather you describe that in the process of you being like really like kind of a picky person. A lot of times, guys just say things or they just rub you the wrong way. And you're just like, when they reach out to you or they message you, you're like, nah, you're not my type. Like, and you can even make a joke out of like the fact that you really have such a specific type that a lot of people you just don't end up liking. And so they start to get to, in their mind, when you're telling these stories, if you can even give real actual examples of stories like that, like when a guy has really tried the most and just not been your type, and like you really, were trying to like, see if you liked him or whatever, or give him an opportunity and he just wasn't what you like, that is a great way to make it seem harmless, that like, yeah, people do approach me, but honestly, not everyone is my type of thing, okay? And it's a nice little story to just throw in there that guys recognize that not only do they want you, but other people want you as well. And then on top of that, with the situation where you can go out to parties and have conversation with people where they can see you actually being with someone else or having a conversation with someone else, okay? Someone says, can you give a fake scenario? A fake scenario would just be, let's say you go to a party And in the span of that party, you go there, you're obviously going to see some other attractive people, assuming there's at least one person that looks decently. And if you're an attractive woman, other people are going to think you're attractive. So let's say, for the sake of example, he goes to the bathroom, or you're in a friend group of a bunch of people and one of the guys starts asking you questions. Maybe you can start having a conversation back with him and allow this conversation to kind of go on for 5-10 minutes where you're laughing, you're asking these questions, he's asking you about this and asking you about that. And even if you're talking about the guy too as well, and you meeting the guy and things like that, it just allows him to see that other people want to have conversation with you. And guys aren't dumb. They perceive it as, when guys are having prolonged conversation with you, they're like, oh, he wouldn't be having conversation with her if she wasn't attractive. And guys are also internalizing the fact that they think you're attractive, and they're projecting that onto other guys as well. So when other guys are talking to you, they're thinking in their mind, I'm a guy, I know he's talking to her because she has a huge dump truck, not because he wants to have a great conversation. So it makes them just the tiniest bit of jealousy, but the tiniest bit of jealousy is good, and it's healthy for him to recognize that, yes, he wants you, but also other people want you as well. It's good, okay? Just be smart with it. Don't go overboard, right? Next, we have here Ashley. Ashley says, am I getting ahead of myself? So Ashley says, I'm 24, seeing, not necessarily dating a guy who's 36 for a week now, although I was seeing him for something else. What else could you be seeing? He was my client. What type of client? Don't judge me. We met off a P2P situation. What's P2P, guys? I'm confused. I'm not sure. What's P2P? P2P situation, and I've known him for about a month, and that's how we initially met. What's P2P, chat? I don't know what P2P is. Okay? I'm confused. I don't know what P2P is. Someone said pineapple to pineapple. I'm not sure what that is. Pay to play? Is that what that means? Pay to play. I think that's what that means. Okay, so we have a little bit of a sugar baby type of situation. When you say client, it makes me think sugar baby / can I say escort on here? Okay. One day we were having a little conversation and connected over movies. He then started to text me one day, just being nice, checking on me and making conversation. We talked about going to a football game because I have never been. We got the tickets. He brought a jersey of my team for me, and because we both have sons, he offered to buy my son more caps since the conversation about haircuts and what I use for my son was brought up. He's treated me to food a couple times. Doesn't he also pay for your time? Since texting more, we haven't had pineapples. We just chilled and talk. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out. So if this means pay to play, so he's just paying you for your time. Oh, I mean, you said since, so I'm assuming he has slept with you, pay to play. But now that he's been texting you more, he just hasn't slept with you. He's just been talking to you, but still paying, I'm assuming. Right? Do you think this is going somewhere, or am I getting ahead of myself? I'm not crazy about him or anything, but this is why I don't get close to guys, because although I am not special, when I get treated, I am not special. When I get treated even a little bit, I start getting hopes that this is my person. LOL. Very delusional of me, I know. I really want to figure out what P2P means, because I feel like this is like the key to this whole situation here. Because when you say he's my client and then you go on to say don't judge me, it makes me feel like it's probably something like pay to play. But then when you're saying, okay, now we're just chilling and talking and we haven't had pineapples in a while, I'm a little bit I'm a little bit confused here. I wish you would have spelled that out more for me. Not special. Sorry. I know now more than ever, I'm able to control my emotions. So like I said, I'm not falling in love, but I just want to know, what do you think his motives are? He's been consistent and seems to take interest in me, but I know it's just because of how we met, and I may be getting ahead of myself. I'm sure he looks at me differently, but he hasn't treated me like it. Okay. So this is really interesting. Oh, wow, Ashley. I feel like you almost need to send a part two because there's so much questions I still have. First of all, P2P, you need I know that you don't want to go into too much detail, but for your situation, what he knows you from, like how he met you, is definitely going to drastically change my answer in terms of like how I respond to you, right? I'm just making an assumption for now that P2P means pay to play, meaning some sort of like, like a e-court service, and that's what you're talking about. Okay, so if I'm wrong on that, just please correct me. So if this is the case, I'm not even going to say that a man can't fall in love with someone that he was first paying to play with. The really confusing part about this is that a relationship like this starts off obviously very transactional, and sometimes the lines become blurred on when it stops being transactional. Because see, this is part of the questions that I would be wanting to ask you if I could. What now is the understanding of the relationship? If he was paying for your time, or even more simply paying to have pineapples with you and jackrabbit himself inside of you, then what is happening now that he's just taking you to football games and no longer jackrabbiting himself inside of you? Is he still paying you? Are you still accepting money from him? Because here's the thing. He might be treating you nice and paying for things for you because that's the way the relationship is meant to be. And he might just be enjoying paying for your time in general. But if you're saying that you enjoy being treated really well, this is really tough now because he might be treating you really well because he's your client. And because he's paying for a service from you, that's part of the reason why he's treating you really well. You have to understand, when you start having a relationship that's not based on a transaction, like you pay for my time or you pay to sleep with me, that's a whole different type of relationship. And then I need to ask you, how do you feel about a relationship in which he's no longer paying for your time? Not that he's not treating you well or doing nice things for you, but like, what if you're not someone that he pays to spend time with? And also, if he's no longer paying to spend time with you, let's see how he treats you if you're not a transaction anymore. Let's see how because here's also the thing, Ashley. If he's paying to play, see, the thing about it is the money trumps everything when he pays to play. Meaning, if he, says something that you don't like or says something that irks you or you might be in a bad mood, when he's paying for your time, he gets your time. So you feel obligated to sleep with him or do stuff with him because he's your client. Even if, maybe you're not feeling the best that day, even if you just go through the regular human emotions and feelings. Here's the thing, though. When you're in a relationship now, it's not just about him paying for your time anymore. Because if you don't want to sleep with him, or if you don't want to hang out with him, or if you're not feeling good or whatever it may be, you're more than, allowed to not spend time with him or not sleep with him. But then how does he treat you when he can't just pay to get what he wants from you? And he actually has to follow it up with treatment of you and consistency with you, and not just be able to pay for you anytime he wants to. Because it's easy to treat someone nice when you can pay for the convenience of having access to them anytime that you want to. But it's not as convenient when you have to be consistent with them, and you can't just get them to do what you want by throwing money at them. It's a whole different type of relationship. And that's why I say that, Ashley, because that requires a lot of nuance in order for me to be able to give you a real answer here, because when he's paying for your time, that's not the same type of relationship for him, even the man, as it is when he's actually wanting to spend that time with you. Because I always tell you guys, and I never want any of you to forget this, the most difficult thing for a man to give you is consistent time and energy and focus. Don't ever get it confused, because some of you do, thinking that that one of the hardest things for a man to give you is money. It's not, especially if he has a lot of money and a lot of disposable income. The hardest thing for a man to do, whether he has money, whether he's broke, whether he's a millionaire, or whether he's the middle class, will always be his consistent time, energy, and focus. Why? Because you can't pay for more time, you can't get that back, and you're only going to invest in people consistently that you actually want to build something with. I can throw money at anyone if that means I'll get what I want from them easy, quick, and painless. And sometimes you guys get blinded by money, thinking that that means a man has real, honest investment in you, only to realize that that man knew that he could throw money at you, get you mesmerized by money, get what he wants from you, and then discard of you when he doesn't want to spend any more time with you. So sometimes a pay-to-play situation can be that, where guys are only spending time with you because they get to pay for the convenience of being with you whenever they want in whatever capacity they want. And it's more of a transaction than it is the consistent show of time, energy, and focus. Because theoretically, in the relationship you have with him now, he could pay for your time, and tomorrow he could pay for another woman's time, and tomorrow he could pay for another woman's time, and it's none of your business if he spends time with you and wants to spend time with other people as well. But when you bring feelings into it and you want to be his only girl, let's see how things change or adjust. Okay? So I think before you can ever have a real relationship with him, you got to end him being your client. You can't have both. He can't be your client and you have a relationship with him. Either you have a relationship with him and he's no longer your client, or he's your client and you don't have a relationship. They say don't mix business and pleasure. That is also, I'm like glitching here. That also applies to a pay-to-play situation as well. Okay. All right, guys. We went really over today, so I didn't get a chance to answer the free questions today, but don't worry, I will get an opportunity to hop into that section as well. I know it's just that there's a lot of people in the VIP premium section, so I got to answer their questions first, okay? So don't worry, I'm here tomorrow as well. I'll be right on time. And don't fret if I didn't answer your question. I just had a glitch there. If you want to follow me on Instagram, because you love me so much, you want to see everything I'm doing, my Instagram is right above your head on the top left side of the screen there, and you can follow me, you can see me, and you can spend some time with me every single day of the week, all right? And if you guys are on YouTube, my Instagram is right at the bottom right of the screen as well. I have to pee so badly. And if you guys are on TikTok and you want to rewatch this stream because you missed parts of the show or you came late, the show is always available for you on my YouTube page. Just type it in on YouTube and you'll be able to find the show. Go in the live section. You'll be able to see this live show along with all the other live shows I've ever done in the past. And the best part is you'll have the YouTube and the TikTok live chat embedded in the video, so you'll be able to see it, see what all the amazing conversation is happening throughout the show. I have to pee so badly, guys, like so badly. I'm gonna run after this. All right, guys, I'm gonna be here. I'm here every weekday, Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I will see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern exactly. Figure out what time that is in your time zone. Until then, sayonara, hasta la vista, adios, arrivederci. Goodbye, bon voyage, and I will see you again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. And I'm gonna run and pee. I'm gonna run and